Good evening, friends. Stephen Benoon here, and it's exciting to be with you guys today. I'm going to probably run at least half of this video here on INL on our channel here, and the entirety of this will be over on Patreon. And you'll get the gist of it anyway, but there's a lot more details that's going to come through this video here that I hope you really will enjoy. A lot of this information I've shared over the years over on Patreon, and recently Alan Didio, and forgive me, Alan, if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. My sincerest apologies. I have not met this man yet. Supposed to be on an interview very soon that he'll be a part of. And so I'm looking forward to that. But he interviewed Perry Stone and as well another young man there. And let me try to find both of these guys on here. I forget his name. Let's see. It should be here in the description here. Joseph Z. I interviewed him. These two men here. I've seen Perry at one of his conferences years ago. I know his wife asked me for the first book I wrote. I sent that to them a long time ago. And but anyway, but nonetheless, we've never met or anything like that. I've never met any of these men here, but they're bringing out this UFO. As it says here, the government UFO deception is here, and I do partly agree with that. It is there is a lot of deception going on, and whether information that I have received over the years is 100% accurate or whatever, I can't say. But one thing that is interesting is that I was told 2026. First, I think about 5 years ago, I was told 2025-ish, I think is what I said on camera. I've got one of those clips here for you. And then later, more accurately, 2026 was supposed to be the year that that real disclosure would come. And that still may not happen this year. And I'm going to explain that in this video here. Why? Because there were other disclosures that I haven't taken the time to find all this information. Maybe some of you could help me with it. And I do owe a great gratitude for all of you that have sent me the different videos here and the minute markings that you did. You were so kind, both brothers and sisters, both that did that on this subject, because you guys know I've been saying this for 5 years now. I think as far back as 6 years. I've actually seen one as far back as 6 years where I've talked about that these things were coming. Even when the government was going to disclose the files on UFOs or UAPs, whatever they want to call them, I knew about that like a year in advance that that was coming. And then, of course, as it began to unfold, the individual that was sharing that with me was very disappointed because they were not disclosing really anything that was alien. They were only disclosing things that are more reverse engineered. And I'm seeing some of that myself, even with some of these videos that they're putting out early on. I haven't really had a chance to look at everything yet. Hopefully here in the next few days, we're going to be done with this move and I can finally get some rest. And you might be saying, gosh, why would it take so long to move? Well, I've only got a 16-foot trailer. That's one of the reasons why. And so, we had moved a lot of things up here to Tennessee. And in a 16-foot trailer and traveling back and forth to Florida is quite a ways there. I mean, we're in Texas there, but my dad's house there is where I store things at. So anyway, I'm gonna refer back to this video here in just a moment. Before I do though, I want to start right here. This was Pastor Anthony 2 years ago. A friend sent me this one here on Rumble, and I'm so glad they did. I wouldn't have even thought about the interview here with Anthony. I totally forgot about it. Pastor Anthony, a wonderful brother. I really love this man. He's just a real precious brother. And but I want to play. They told me 10 minutes 39 seconds is where this begins at, so I'll do 10:23. And let me just start this off because they're telling you on there that they're doing a disclosure this year, and of course Perry Stone in his initial video spoke about reptilians. Listen to this right here. It's a little bit of a shocker. For these disclosures is because 2026 is supposed to be the year that we begin to deal more with intermingling with alien species here on the earth. There is going to be an alien presence here. So that's the reason for the disclosures, is to begin to prepare the people, and not just the disclosures. If you've noticed, Pastor Anthony, that a lot of the even the television shows that they were coming out with, the series, whether it be Netflix, etc. There was this one, I forget the name of the actor, that's a tall black guy, but he's like a partner with an alien, and they're policemen and stuff like that. We're seeing more and more uh, shows like that, preparing us even psychologically, especially for the younger generation, that this is going to become something that could very well be a reality. But we'll get into the part later. So that one there, I know, I think it was Manny and Michelle, two other ladies there had sent me videos as well. I forget, I forget who was who on that. I think that was, I, I won't go into all that, but anyway, it doesn't matter. But I do appreciate it sincerely, sisters, for sending me these videos here. As you notice right there at the beginning, 2026. And I do need to clarify, even in the, like I said at the beginning, when I was also told about how in advance, probably about a year in advance, that there was coming the disclosure for presence, and I think that was 2022 or 2023. I forget now. I have to go back and look at all that. That they were going to start doing. They had different project names for, and I disclosed the one for the White House at the time. What they were calling their disclosures. I think the CIA had one, the White House had one, the military, Pentagon, etc. They all were going to release different disclosures, and this is supposed to be that build up for this 2026 episode. Now, when that first began, there, and again, keep in mind, the friend of mine that I had in DC, whether or not he, truly intel, or whether it's YouTube sensationalism, or just a lot of deep research, I'm not here to say yes or no. I don't know, because some things didn't happen the way that I was told they would happen. But on these disclosures here, it is kind of odd, because that issue there is starting to materialize, or at least in the respect of, yes, they're disclosing more and more of these craft. Early on, thus far, everything I've seen disclosed, though, was not alien. It's reverse engineered technology that we have. And that's been a bit of a disappointment. But like that movie I spoke about on with Pastor Anthony there, and I cannot think of the name of that actor that plays that. It's a black man, tall black guy. I'm sure many of you already know who I'm talking about. But then there's also the movie V that came out, and I was told that this is really going to be similar to what's going to happen. But let's go here to right here to Didio, where he's getting ready to interview these guys here. Let me play the first part of this clip for you.
But before we get to them, I want to hear from you guys online. What are you seeing in the news? Well, it all began with a clandestine meeting of pastors being gathered for a secret disclosure of it. But what's the truth behind all of this? What's going on with all this alien UFO UAP disclosure? We actually have the individuals behind all of this who are helping to make us all famous, I guess, in our 15 minutes here of fame. But before we get to them, I want to hear from you guys online. What are you seeing in the news?
All right, now before we get into playing this video right here, a couple of clips out of there, let me take you back to Perry Stone. Now, I only had a 2-minute clip initially. This is a little bit longer version of Perry's video, and I'll put all this in the description. I don't know if this is Perry's or somebody. It looks like maybe somebody else had loaded this. I'm not sure, but I'll load this up for you so you can see it. This is what Perry said there that caught my attention as many as it did many of you. Listen into this.
There's going to be a release concerning aliens and concerning unidentified flying object spacecraft that some of the people who were in the meeting were telling us as pastors, you need to prepare your people and you need to get ready to answer them for what you're about to hear being released. And some of it has to do with crafts that have been discovered that are not allegedly a part of our planet, and the materials they're made of are not a part of our planet. very strange reptilian looking creatures and other things that almost sound like something out of a sci-fi movie.
All right. And then I think the most important thing for me is the reptilian aspect. And I still need to go into this more from a teaching aspect as well, because to me, it again, what is it? You're dealing with the serpent in the Garden of Eden, which was a reptilian. Now, of course, I've been asked the question before, was he erect, walking on his feet? There are a lot of biblical scholars that believe that to be the case. I mean, how would you curse the serpent to go on his belly if he was not already walking on his feet there? And I've had some different thoughts on that, even more recently, because dust shall be the meat and things like that. And then according to the alleged information that I've heard over the years now, reptilians live within underground caves and things like that, going spanning all over the globe. Whether or not this is really true or not, I mean, hey, who knows? But there seems to be some very interesting insights on that. Now, besides Perry making that statement there, let me take you to Joseph Z, where he first begins to talk about this. Because I know Perry began when he spoke quite at length there before Joseph jumped in there. But I want to play a clip of where Joseph talks about it because he was also in one of these meetings here, and I think his information also warrants being listened to as well.
Meeting that we were in had so many aspects to it. None of it was shock and awe beyond words. It was a lot of data. They were trying to forewarn to forearm. We were going through things. Now they did at a part in the meeting, and this is fascinating, show us images on a cell phone where they personally took images of entities that were in the woods, different things, and again, you see images today all the time, so you don't know what's up from down. Mm-hmm. But when we looked at that, it was pretty convincing, and they showed it to us on a cell phone. They personally took images of these figures and entities that had translucent bodies, all of those things. That was something we did see. Whether it was real or not, I'll leave that for the listener to go back to their Bible and get a hold of the Word of God over.
I do appreciate it a lot that they keep referring back to the biblical side of things. And listen, quite frankly, I personally, when I look at this, I think of fallen angels, things like that. But who's to say? I mean, who's to say what is really what in this case here? I do not. I do not believe this to be benevolent in any shape or form, especially when it comes to reptilians. I know there's differing opinions out there on that, but I'm going to play you some of the clips here now because the reason why I'm doing this is if you go back, like I said, there's been different disclosures. There was the UFO UAP disclosures that began initially, and then we have, as I was being told 2025 is 2026 would be when we would finally be told that we're among alien entities, that they're actually a part of us, and that would be disclosed. But it would also come at a time when the world was really being torn apart by war. I don't know if I've got that part of this in any of these videos here, but I'm going to play you some of these clips so you can hear some of the things that I was saying. This was one that was sent to me, Fact News Network, back in 2020, 6 years ago almost. So listen to this little clip right here. I think you'll find it fascinating.
We're talking about this Antichrist spirit. He's the same one that said these archons, these aliens, fallen angels, demons that are out there waiting to make themselves known around the year 2025 on this earth after a world war calamity, that they will not be coming benevolent, although they will first come with a peace. In fact, he actually said, if you look at the V-series movie that they had back in the mid-'80s, they also did a remake of it here a few years back, that series on the V movie there. He said it'll be very much like that. They will come in the beginning as if they are benevolent, bringing gifts and bringing food because people are starving from all the wars that have just broke out on a global scale. But they're going to be coming with peace, peace, peace. Remember, Jesus said, when they say to you peace and safety, sudden destruction comes.
That's another one. Like I said, that's 6 years ago, as I was talking about it then. This one here, going back.